I'm Dick Gordon. This is the story. Never mind that the famed pitcher Roger Clemens is standing trial for perjury, or that he's accused of making false statements to Congress about his use of steroids. Don't dwell on that. It's a new baseball season. And in the case of one Massachusetts man, it's time to open the front door and step into his front yard. Our producer, Phoebe Judge, paid him a visit.
My name's Tom Hannon. We're in Amesbury, Massachusetts, and we're at my house.
Tom Hannon lives in a small town on the New Hampshire border, an hour's drive north of Boston. The road to his house crisscrosses back and forth between the states. I realized when I got close that I had forgotten Tom's house number, and I started digging around in the car trying to find the piece of paper that I had written it on. Then I looked up. I didn't need the paper.
As you drive in the driveway, you look a little bit to the left, and you start to see a 13-foot-high fence with signs on it and a scoreboard. And as you come up the driveway, up about 100 feet, the field just kind of appears on your left-hand side. The grass, the pitcher's mound, the batter's boxes, and you can see all the little details that we've installed on the field over the years.
The field Tom is describing, and the one that takes up the majority of his front yard, is a perfect replica of Ebbets Field, where the Brooklyn Dodgers played before they moved to L.A. in 1958. Tom has recreated it exactly, only it's a quarter of the size.
You know, baseball, you could say, is in my blood from the day I was born. I was actually born the day before the Red Sox lost the World Series to the St. Louis Cardinals. And everyone on October 11th, and everyone thought I should be named Carl because Carl Yastrzemski, of course, had that great year. He won the Triple Crown and the MVP. He almost carried them to the championship.
Facts like those come often when you're having a conversation with Tom. If you don't know much about baseball, you just grin and nod. But I couldn't help thinking that someone who was really into the game would have a field day talking to this guy. Baseball was the only language that Tom and his father had in common.
He was a company man. I was an entrepreneur. I've always been an entrepreneur. And we had stark political differences, and we couldn't connect in anything except baseball. Now, we could stay up until 4 o'clock in the morning, and we did, debating who was better, Willie Mays or Babe Ruth. But that was the subject that we could discuss safely. And we did. And that's how, and that was my connection to it. And it's my fondest memory of baseball is with him, watching Game 6 in 2004 when the Red Sox made that great comeback when they beat the Yankees. He was dying of lung cancer at the time. And I actually watched the first 6 innings of that game on his hospital bed. It was the last game we got to watch together.
In 2005, Tom sold his company and went to San Diego with his daughter, where he saw that the San Diego Padres have a wiffle ball field in the back of the real stadium. Tom had a little time on his hands and loved the idea. When his now ex-wife announced that she wanted to move, Tom said okay, as long as he could have a place to build a field.
I would say it was 80% of the reason why I bought this house. Because I didn't want to move, but since she wanted to move, I wanted to be able to have a field. We looked at houses that would have been fine, except they couldn't have a field.
The logical choice might have been for Tom to build a Fenway, the historic Boston Red Sox stadium, which lies just to the south of him. Tom is a Red Sox fan, but he says he wanted to be different. There were already enough people who recreated Fenway. Who knew? Tom chose Ebbets Field because it was different. When it was originally constructed, it was built to fit squarely in one city block, and so the angles in the outfields are strange, with corners jutting in and out. Tom researched hundreds of websites and planned for months. His daughter wasn't that surprised, but his son thought he was a little nuts.
Especially when he came home and the driveway was filled with dirt. Now, you've coming into the house, if you can't obviously picture it on the radio, the driveway's 400 feet long from the street to the house. And 200 feet of that 400 feet had a dirt pile that was 25 feet high. It was like coming into the Batcave. It really was. It was ominous. And that's how much dirt that they had to move to actually level the ground.
Construction on Little Ebbets Field began in March of 2009. By the time it was completed in July, Tom had moved 1,000 yards of dirt, put up hundreds of sheets of plywood, and done almost all the work by himself. What was there when he finished was a baseball stadium with the exact dimensions of Ebbets Field, only a quarter of the size.
Right now, we're in left field. So if you were to, this is where you'd stand mainly when like a right-handed batter stands. You're probably about 80 feet from home plate. We have the baselines that come up the side. This is all like a gray.
Tom knows every dimension of Little Ebbets. He knows which way the grass is supposed to grow. He laid the sod himself. And that the stands can hold around 120 comfortably, but have often held over 200. For Tom, building the field wasn't just about a place to play wiffle ball.
I think when I look at it back, it was really a salvation for my life. I was having a midlife crisis at the time. My marriage wasn't very good, and I was looking for a place to basically go and put all my investment of time. I had sold a company. I was semi-retired at the time, and I was really looking for something to do, and I wanted to do something that was meaningful. I didn't want to just do something to do it. So I decided to build a field, and I wanted to create these memories for the kids, and I wanted people to come here and play and enjoy it. And I've always loved baseball, so it just seemed like a natural thing for me to do at the time.
The first year Little Ebbets opened, Tom played 209 games, all with wiffle balls, which apparently is more of an adult sport than I had imagined. Tom told me that wiffle balls can be thrown at 97 miles per hour. Bats can cost more than $100. I had no idea. Tom plays with his kids and friends, and he'll pretty much let anyone who wants to use the field use it. It would have been a lot of work to just keep it to himself.
Baseball has a connection to its past, and like no other sport, and I don't know why that is. I just know that it is, and there's an active connection to its past. It's almost like Babe Ruth still is alive, and Roberto Clemente is still alive, and Ty Cobb is still alive, and we can still see them playing this game, because the game itself hasn't changed. It's still 90 feet to first base, 90 feet to second. It's 128 feet from home plate to second base. It's 60 feet, 6 inches pitcher's mound. It all appears to be the same.
The day Tom gave me a tour around the field, it was cold and windy, not the type of weather one would choose to play baseball in. The leaves weren't out on the trees yet, and the grass had a while to go before it got green. I think Tom could sense that I was ready to get back inside. But even if he was cold, he didn't show it. He kept trying to get in every last detail that he could, rattling off line distances and figures. I finally turned off the recorder. I had all that I needed, but he kept going. As I made my way back to the car, I realized that Tom Hannon, yes, is in love with baseball. But really, he's fallen in love with this field.
That story is from our producer, Phoebe Judge.